Is it scary being a lady FBI agent?
Yeah.
Take a nice long look. A letter was left with the bodies. Signed with one word.
Right, Longlegs, one of my most highly anticipated movies of the year, and I knew absolutely nothing about it going into it. So, what sparked my interest with the movie was the first trailer had hit, and it literally didn't tell you anything about the movie. It was just, hey, we're going to show you just some images, some like creepy looking stuff, and that's it. Like, come to the theater to find out what this is. And this has, I think Monroe, who I've seen in the only other movie I can think of that I've seen her in is It Follows. And it's been a while since I've seen that. But also, Nicolas Cage being in this, of course, sparked my interest, and it's not one of his direct-to-video movies. So I was like, okay, so hopefully this is better high quality. And this movie is written and directed by, it's Perkins. Osgood is his grandfather, who is related to Anthony Perkins from Psycho, or Norman Bates. So that's kind of cool. And this does kind of have an edge to Psycho. Now, when it comes to this, the least you know about it, the better. Because I purposely went into this skipping all the trailers, skipping everything. Like, purposely going into it completely blind. And I think that is a good strategy to go into this movie with. Is not knowing, like, either hardly anything or barely anything. Like, all you need to do is just, okay, it's crazy. You have to go see it. Now, Twitter has been praising this movie to death, to the point where I can't go on Twitter until I see a frame of the movie. And I just immediately get angry. Because I'm like, oh my God, I didn't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Like, I want to go see it. Knock it off. It's like the same thing with the current season of The Boys. I can't stop on Twitter for 2 seconds without someone trying to spoil it. So, Twitter's been praising the film, like saying, oh my God, it's a masterpiece. Oh my God, it's amazing. I'm here to say, while I don't agree with that, I don't think it's as good as Twitter says, but this is still really, really good. This is a slow movie, and it definitely takes its time because, I don't want to give too much away, but it is very detective-like, and a lot of detective stuff is very slow because you have to take it like one step at a time. You do kind of have to stop and think about a lot of things before you can progress on. So that does have this element in there, which is they captured pretty nicely. It's also not so cut and dry. And in fact, after I watched it, I had to go to the wiki to read it to make sure I was thinking the right way. Because I'm going, I think I understand, but let me look it up real quick. And I went, okay, all right, okay, I get it now. Because, yeah, the movie is not, like, blatantly saying, oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's giving you visual clues. And it's telling you some clues, too, but it doesn't give you a lot, so then by the time, something happens, you're kind of at, like, like, I'm a little confused, but at the same time, I kind of get it. So, it's definitely not an A plus B equals C movie, so don't really go into it with that mentality, because you're probably going to be disappointed from that. I will say that there are some parts I expected to happen, but it didn't interfere with the story for me. It wasn't something where I went, oh, come on, you're doing this. It was like, okay, you're doing this. It makes sense. I've seen it before, and kind of predicted it, but I understand it. I understand it. But there are enough like crazy turns that keep you definitely invested in the story and the characters. Which, speaking of the characters, the acting is very, very good. It feels very realistic. It feels very believable. As much as I think Monroe was incredibly, incredibly good, Cage just brings it. Because I will say, he plays his killer self. He plays his crazy self that, we all know and love for him to do. He definitely brings that here. But then they said, hey, add like a psycho killer instinct to him, to this killer self of yours. And he just brings it. And it's so engaging, and it's kind of puts you on edge, because you're like, I don't know what you're going to do next. Because you're Nicolas Cage, you can literally do something and then just be incredibly unpredictable the next. So, like, oh my God, I don't know what you're going to do. The cinematography was very, very good. It kind of has, not to the degree, it kind of felt like at times, it kind of felt like almost like a Skinamarink kind of feel. But at the same time, it where with the Skinamarink, it literally just, hey, put the camera like in this hallway and you can barely see, the hallway. Where with this, it's actual, like, they feel like setup shots instead of just placing the camera in just random parts and just making it work. This, there's definitely a lot of shots where the camera work is made to just toy with you, and the from the camera work to the camera setups to even the editing too. A lot of parts in the movie that make you feel like, am I seeing something? No, I'm not seeing something. And it's really clever the way they do it, because I love how the way they do it, it's not blatantly saying to the audience, hey, do this, like, hey, look at this. It's just setting something up and then just basically saying, okay, audience, you go from there. And it also, the typical things that you would find in just a lot of horror movies today, like a lot of camera setups where it's blatantly obvious that something is, it's in the forefront, but it's, something's in the background, like blatantly in the background. This movie loves to do that, but it loves to just toy with you, because you're kind of expecting something and then nothing happens. So you're like, so you're playing that game. All right. I see what you're getting at. So I don't want to give too much else away for this movie, because like I said, it is a really good movie that you need to go into with little to no information about it. I will say, if you like crime, if you like, if you like crime genres, if you like psychological stuff, this is up there. This would get you. This I think you would enjoy. And, maybe a little supernatural thrown into it. But, overall, as did it exceed expectations? I don't know if I could say, because like I said, I purposely didn't, know anything about this. I was just like, saw the trailer, saw the release date, and went, yep, I'm going to go see it. And that was it. I, purposely did that. So I really don't know if it exceeded expectations, because I really didn't have any expectations going into it, because, like I said, I purposely just shut myself out from it. So, but I will say, if you have expectations, maybe dim those down. Because this movie isn't interested in being a typical horror film. It's not interested in any of that. It wants to be smarter. It wants to be slower. And, you know, sometimes slower stuff can really work and really shine. And with this case, it really did. So I would give this a great. Like I said, I don't think this is as good as Twitter praises it to be. But I do agree that this is a really, really, really good movie. And, you know, definitely a lot of parts that would keep you on edge, keep you engaged, and just really, really good movie.
You could have made nice with me. But you didn't. And that has led to all of this. I'll be waiting.